Hello and welcome to Mighty Obstacle Studios' month in review for September 2024. What a wild month this was, especially since I did half of it not really doing much. Half of it was because of this, the Sage 2024 demo. As Scouter had a showing at Sage 2024, it gave the public a chance to play it and let me know how they thought of it right now. Besides the non-criticism of, it's too early in development, I got a hefty amount of feedback for the game. No, seriously, it's too early that's not what I'm looking for. Just try it, it's okay. You'd be shocked how many people tried this out before Bayonetta happened. Luckily, all the feedback pointed in directions that made it easier to fix stuff. Main critiques were lobbied at the graphics looking unfinished, they are, the animations being stiff, they are, and a few control issues that I've already fixed. For instance, people really didn't like the air dash, so I made it much better. Braking was also harder to do, so I made it easier on the ground. I also learned that Scout's slide dash was coded incorrectly. I thought it was coded to multiply how much power you put into the dash, only to play Sonic 2 and realize, oh, you're faster than top speed at one charge. Oh no. So that was addressed. Some other critiques were lobbied at Scout being locked in a direction when wall jumping, which was also fixed. Now, there were some things that I can't just fix with a simple value change in code. One common request was a down thrust move when in the air. Oddly enough, only Scout's staff doesn't have that, so I think I'll add one for her. Maybe a pogo like DuckTales, that would be fun. Another critique was lobbied at her delay combos not having good variety. I have great ideas with them, but that requires animating them. Another was an idea with a money system, and Scouter probably will have one, I just need to see if it'll work well. I don't want a system where you have to buy moves like Devil May Cry. I want players to discover the moves and have them all unlocked by default. This mainly caters to the replaying groups because restarting Devil May Cry 3 with so few weapons makes it a bit sloggy until you get Cerberus. One suggestion was a badge system like Paper Mario or the part system Mega Man Zero had, with head, body, and feet chips. These are all ideas I'm going to experiment with and figure out the best solution. I'm more in favor of the Zero solution with some sort of limiter like the badge points in Paper Mario. Now, of course, the real question is, did anyone actually like the game? Yeah, the game's level design got a lot of praise. People said it's really fun to run around in it. The combat system, despite being in a simpler state, also got a lot of praise too. So thank God the two things you do the most in this game, platform and fight, are well received. The music also had a lot of praise. People loved the soundtrack from the get-go. So I'll keep making sure Arvin, Aoki, and Phil get the credit they deserve, along with the fourth composer we'll get back to. Scout herself also got a lot of praise. People love the 90s anime art style, the hybrid Kamen Rider and Bubblegum Crisis look she has, and many people said she's extremely cute. I will not read the messages I got about it. Some of you were a little sick. But I'm glad you like her. So one thing I'm going to work more on aggressively is the texture work for this game. I looked a lot at Dreamcast model rips to see what I can do to match their aesthetic better. I've found out most cartoony games like Sonic Adventure and Skies of Arcadia actually do use realistic textures, but they do certain things to them like simplify their texture or saturate them greater to make them look nicer in a cartoony world. I took some pictures around my house as textures and modified them to make them tileable, and then added a bit of cartoony flair, and it seemed to work. Great! I'll have to travel around Milwaukee and get a lot of pictures then. The more I have, the better. And with winter coming up, I gotta do this quickly. Oh, by the way, more people are coming to help on this project. Look, it's not my fault. I keep finding ways to get more money to fund this. That doesn't mean you shouldn't donate to the Patreon. Please do! I would like this game to be much easier to work on. One person joining up is Malambo. He was designing enemies for Draco Blood, but we decided to rewrite his contract, and now he's doing enemies for Scouter. Saves me some damn time. One more person is going to join later that I didn't plan for. Eclipse OST already consists of Arvin, Aoki, and Phil, but now they have a fourth member joining them. Her name is Saki Momiyama, and she's, well, you know, a former composer of Nihon Falcom that did a lot of the E7 soundtrack. Yeah, so an actual industry professional will be joining soon. Now, I should say it isn't set in stone yet, but she is an official 4th member to this team, so eventually we're gonna have our contracts rewritten and settled up and taken care of, and oh man, this is so cool. So what's next? Well, I already added camera controlling and act transition stuff, so I guess I should make it work for a new stage. Right now, I'm going to be working on the actual first level for the game, Trainyard Tantrum. I've added some effects like proper atmospheric lighting and Scout's eyes and jets actually glow in the dark. Yes, they should be doing that. I never made the shader for them until recently. Expect the next month in review to be primarily about the actual first stage for the game. I figured out from making Fresh Forest the most optimal way to design these stages, so this is going to be a much faster process. I also need to get some basic gimmicks working like moving platforms. Those are shockingly a bit harder to get right, so I'm going to see what I can do. Now, as you recall from the last month in review, which I'm sure you as a dedicated viewer have watched, I was going to make some more content for this channel that is more so dedicated videos about Scouter and explaining cool things I'm doing in it, etc., etc. Well, a lot of the scripts I've made for this, and yes, scripts plural, are done. So expect at least one of these videos this month. So that's the deal with this month in review. A lot of stuff, even though I was sitting on my butt. Isn't that great? But I can't do that anymore. And believe me, I don't wanna. So I can't wait to go ham on Scouter. With that, a recommendation. Partially related to me sitting on my ass, I played through some of my favorite RPGs, the Might and Magic series, with 6, 7, and 8. I didn't play them as individual games, I played them with a merge mod called The World of Enroth. This mod adds a new story and the ability to switch between the worlds as you play. What eventually happens is you feel like you're doing a new game plus because you don't unlock these worlds until you reach a certain level in the mod. But it's fun to see what these games are like with a lot of the fixes that Might and Magic 8 brought to the table. But it's not made for first-time playthroughs, and also some of the mod's fan stuff is half-baked near the end. So let's do this. Have you played these games before? Play the mod. Have you never played or even heard of these games before? Play Might and Magic 8. So stay tuned with more regarding Trainyard Tantrum. I'm going to be making a lot of fixes for Scouter and adding all kinds of new moves, animations, graphics, level design, gimmicks. Seems crazy, but after playing a mod that's like 80 hours long, I don't want to play a single game for a very long time. So I got time. Remember, you can always help out Scouter's production by checking out the Patreon and donating for your support. Don't forget to also check out other avenues for news, like Patreon as a free member, or X. Oh my gosh, I think that's the first time I called Twitter that. But I do apologize for the length on this month in review. But I do hope you have a good one, and I can't wait to see you all with the next video. Take care.